So today we'll be starting with in last lecture we have covered up to this uh, equation of alternating voltage. That equation was Em sin theta. We generally seen this equation earlier as well. You might have studied this equation in 12th, but this is how it came, and this is very easy. Then today we'll start with the average value or mean value of the AC. Now, whenever you want to compare AC voltage with your DC voltage or AC current with DC current, at that time, this average value and RMS value are the two parameters which can help you in comparing the AC with DC. So basically, what is average value first? So the steady state current, okay, that means DC current, which flows through a circuit for a given time transfers the same charges as transferred by the alternating current. That means if you want the average value, in that case, what average value would be? If I am flowing a current in DC circuit, okay, some charge would be transferred in this resistors. Now in AC, if I flow a AC through same circuit with same parameters, so resistance value would be same. And if I transfer the AC power from here, and if same charge transfers in this circuit, in that case, that two quantity can be equated. Okay. So basically, we are trying to transfer the same charges for DC and AC. Then and then we'll call it as a average value. Okay. The other value is RMS value, where we are transferring the heat energy. But here I am transferring the charge. Charge means number of electrons or number of coulomb of charge, you can say. So the basic definition is the DC which flows through a circuit for a given time transfer, same charges as transferred by the alternating current when flows through the same circuit for same time is called average value of the alternating current. Okay. So time is also same, right? So if the time is not same, you cannot measure that thing. So time should be same and charge should be same. So how to match up the charge? By changing the voltage or current of your AC source, you can differentiate the charge. Like I can have a different flow of charge. If my current is high, my charge transfer would be high. If my current is low, charge transfer would be low. But I have to flow that charge in same amount of time. Like if I transfer a 1 coulomb of charge in 1 second here, I must apply 1 second in this circuit and try to maintain the try to transfer 1 coulomb of charge. Then I can say that's the average value. So this is the basic fundamental of average value. I am going to transfer same charge over same amount of time. Now, how to find out this average value? In the AC, DC would be very easy. It's the area under the curve. So, in the case of DC, we know the area under the curve would be very easy. Why? Because if you look at the graph of DC, that could be a time axis, okay, and you be having this kind of graph. So, area under the curve, it is very easy to find out area under the curve. This would be the area because this is a straight line that would be rectangular, and we know how to find out the area of rectangular. But in case of AC, it would be a little bit difficult. Why? Because the AC waveform looks like this. So if you want to find out the area of this curve, then it would be easy. This is basically a sine. So it would be a little bit difficult, and we'll see how to do that. So first of all, how to find out the average value? Just area under the curve divided by length of the base of the curve. So length of the base of curve is this time period in our case, this time period. Okay. So let's have an AC wave first. This is my AC wave. This is how AC wave looks like. This is the waveform of current. Now I have this waveform starting from this. Okay. This is basically, if I say this is my current I, this would be my equation Im sin theta. So Im is the instantaneous part of this current. Okay, the maximum value of the current, this point. This is my Im. This part is my Im. Okay, this is my Im, and sin theta is actually time varying quantity. So at any point of time, in instantaneously you can find out I is equal to Im sin theta. And if you want to represent your wave in form of waveform, you can say I is equal to Im sin theta, where theta belongs to 0 to 2 pi. So you can say that. Okay, see, this is the thing. But why we have taken pi over here? There is different issue with this. But this is basic waveform. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a part of this waveform. So I'm going to find out the area of this curve by distributing in n number of sections. So these are the n number of sections, and the length of this section is d theta. We are going to integrate something, that's why we have taken this d theta. So I'm only considering this block. Why I'm considering only this block? If I take this sine wave, it would be very difficult to find out the area because the shape is not rectangular. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a part of this. Then if the part is very small, I can see there would be a rectangle. Okay, this part is little bit big, but if I take very small step, in that case the thing would be almost rectangle, and then I can find out the area easily. That's why we will take a small part. We have done this in 11, 10, 12 so many times. Always we integrate or differentiate with a very small part, and then we integrate it over a longer part. So same way here, my average current IAV, that is average current, would be area under half cycle. Now this one more thing. Since the waveform is symmetric, this is a symmetric waveform. This part and this part is same, only this flowing in negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to only calculate for the half cycle, and that same value would be the other half cycle or the full cycle. But if you try to calculate over a full cycle, what will happen? The average value will become 0. Why it will become 0? Because whatever charge transferred in one direction in this amount of time would be transferring in the other direction, because the current would be same, resistance would be same. So in that case, what will happen? Initially charge can flow in this direction, but this is AC. So AC, we know the definition of AC. The direction must change in case of AC. So when the direction changes, the same amount of charge would go in the other direction. So in that case, my average value will become 0. That's why we only calculate the average value over a half cycle, and that average value would be same for the other half as well. So for any half cycle, the average value would be same. Okay, so we are going to calculate the half cycle value because it's a symmetrical wave. So mathematically, you can say I is equal to Im sin theta, where theta belongs to 0 to pi now. It was 2 pi earlier. Why 2 pi? Because we were considering full cycle, but now I am considering half cycle, so it has become pi. So by definition, average value is area under half cycle upon length of the base of over half cycle. So what would be my area now? So as I am taking a very small part, that is d theta. Okay, so this is my d theta, and the rectangle would be looking like this. Okay, this is my rectangle. So the value of this length would be I. So that is I into d theta. So this is my area of rectangle, I into d theta. But as I have to find out the whole area under the half cycle, this is just a part of it. I can integrate this part over the half cycle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to integrate this thing I into d theta over 0 to pi. And the length of the base is this length of base. We know half cycle belongs 0 to pi, so it would be pi. So what I can get is 1 by pi is equal to Im sin theta d theta. Integration over 0 to pi Im sin theta into d theta. Where this term come from? Im sin theta. It is this I is equal to Im sin theta, or it is also given over here. I is equal to Im sin theta. So this is the value of I at any instance provided with different theta. So Im sin theta d theta. Now I am going to integrate this. So we know that the integration of sine is minus cos. So Im by pi into minus cos theta over 0 to pi. Now I am going to substitute value of this cos pi and cos 0. I will take minus common over here. So minus Im by pi is my cos pi minus cos 0. We know that cos pi is minus 1, cos 0 is 1. There is a minus sign, so I can say it's minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 is minus 2. There is already one minus over here, so it will become like this. Minus Im into minus 2 divided by pi. So this is 2Im sorry, 2im divided by pi, or you can say if you calculate this value 2 by pi, you will get 0.6369 something. So we can say it is 0.637 im. So at any point of time, if you ask what is the average value of sine wave, okay, average value of sine wave or cos wave, in that case the value would be this 0.637 into im, where im, what is im? Im is the maximum or peak value of current, maximum or peak value, okay, where your sine wave has the maximum value. Okay, any
Screen
question?
not visible.
Sorry, yeah, anyone?
So screen not visible, sir.
Not visible, everyone is not able to see the screen, or just the one guy? Roll number 5, Jai. Yes, Parth, can you able to see the screen?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
It's visible.
Okay, let me stop it one more time and say it one more time. Now, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The guy who was not can slide. Who was not able to see, can he see now, right? I hope everyone is visible. If it's not visible, let me know. So this is how you can find out the average value, and you have to remember this equation. Okay, we are going to calculate some examples based on this. So IAV or I average is equal to 0.637 of I max or I peak value, maximum value of the current. It is at this point. At this point, this is the point where I will get maximum value. Then this was for full like sine wave. But what if I have a rectifier? Okay, what does a rectifier do? Rectifier will convert your AC wave to DC wave. Okay, so if I can have a half wave rectifier, in that case, my output would look like this. This is kind of DC, but not steady. Okay, but this is DC because there is no current that is flowing in the other direction. So here this wave is unsymmetrical. This is the first thing. Okay, the symmetrical wave would look like this, but this is not symmetrical, that's why it does not look like this. So we can say this is an unsymmetrical waveform. Now how to find out the area under the curve of unsymmetrical wave? So in this case, what I have to do is I have to take the cycle from here to here. Okay, I have to take this full cycle and then calculate the area under the curve. So what I'm going to do here is area under the full cycle, same equation, but here I have two different equations. See, now the equation of I are two different. When I am having the half cycle, at that time my I is I am sine theta, and when there is no cycle or nothing is there, or you can say when it becomes zero due to the rectification, at that time my I value is zero. Okay, so I can say I is equal to I am sine theta over 0 to pi, and I is equal to 0 when the theta belongs to pi to 2 pi. Okay, so over pi to 2 pi, my value of current is 0. So area under curve would be I into d theta. Okay, this is d theta part into I over 0 to pi, because this is the time, plus pi to 2 pi 0 into d theta, but this term would become 0. Okay, and divided by length of the base. Now length of base is what? It is starting from 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi. So length of base is actually this whole cycle 2 pi. So in case of unsymmetrical, you have to consider the whole cycle. Here it was symmetrical, so we can calculate it over half cycle because it's the same reciprocal of this thing. So I have calculated it for only half cycle, but here it's little bit different. That's why we cannot do that, and we have to consider the full cycle. So full cycle is 2 pi, that's why we have 2 pi over here. Earlier we have only pi, you can see it. Okay, earlier we have only pi, but right now I have 2 pi. So 1 upon 2 pi Im sin theta, the same derivation would be there, minus cos theta 0 to pi, and that at the final end, what I'll get is, see, this is the equation here, 1 upon 2 pi, and there is minus 1, so it will become minus 2, and then minus 2 into minus Im, that will become 2 Im divided by 2 pi, and 2 would be cancelled out, and Im by pi is the equation. So the average value of the half wave rectified current would be this. I average would be 1 upon pi into Im, or Im by pi, you can say. Okay, you can even calculate that value. I am not calculating that value right now, but you can calculate that value. But it's general Im by pi. Earlier we have 2 Im by pi in case of full cycle. Okay. This is just a detailed derivation one more time. I'm not going into that. That's the same thing which we have covered. So I hope average value is clear to everyone. How to find out the average value? This derivation can be asked. It's a very basic math. Just the integration of sine, and then put the two values, and you'll get the value. Okay. So just take care whenever you've been asked sine wave. At that time you have to consider a full cycle, and then the waveform is symmetrical. That's why we'll consider a half cycle. But when you have average value of half wave rectified current or this waveform, in that case you have to consider it over a full cycle, because the symmetricity is not there in case of waveform. So you cannot take over 0 to pi, but you have to take care of 0 to 2 pi, and when this I becomes 0, at that time this term will become 0. That's why it is not appearing again one more time, because integration of 0 is always 0, so you cannot have that thing. Okay. Other than that, it's very easy theory. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can ask, or we can move ahead. Okay. Now we can move ahead with the RMS value. So what is the RMS value? Earlier we have same charge, but here we will have same amount of heat. Okay, the steady state current which flows through a circuit for a given time produces the same amount of heat as produced by the alternating current when flows through the same circuit for the same time is called the RMS value of the alternating current. So what's our target is to match up the heat produced in the element. Okay, for an example, heat produced in this resistor. So if I pass a 5 ampere current from here to here for 1 second, and whatever heat is produced in this element, and I pass some X current for 1 second, and if it produces the 5 ampere of 5 joules of heat, in that case I can say this is the RMS value of the current. Whatever is X is my RMS value of the current. So here we are matching the heat produced over the same amount of time in DC as well as AC. Earlier, in case of average, we are passing the same charge and producing same charge transfer over the same amount of time. But in this case, we are producing heat over the same amount of time, and then if that value matches, then I can say my RMS value is this, so and so is my RMS value. Okay, so basically the concept is like this: whatever is produced in AC has to match by DC. Like first I'll pass some current over here. Okay, now some 5 joules of energy has been dissipated. Now what I'll try to do, I have to take DC circuit, and what I'll do is I'll transfer the same amount of over a same amount of time. I'll vary this current, and I'll measure the heat produced over this element. If I produce a 5 joules of heat over here, then I'll stop there and I'll measure this current, and I'll say the RMS value of this AC is this DC value. Okay, I hope you have been clear like how this things works. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer current for 1 second. Let us say I'm having a 5 ampere of current transferring for 1 second, and here some X amount of joule has been produced. Now what I'm going to do, I'll connect the same circuit, the resistance would be same. I'll start with current 0, then I'll gradually increase the current after each 1 second, and I'll measure the heat produced over this element. Okay. Now initially, if I say, let us say I have 1 ampere current at that time, it might be possible I have produced 1.5 joule of energy. When I flow 2 ampere, this is just a random assumption. Huh? At 2 ampere, I can have 2.2 joules of energy. At some point of time, I'll produce X joule of energy for some Y ampere of current in DC. At that time, what I'll say is this Y ampere, whatever I find out, is the RMS value of this AC circuit. Okay, this Y current flowed in DC is actually RMS of this circuit. Now it is not like feasible to every time do this, so we can have the equation by which you can find out the RMS value, and let's derive that equation. Same thing is for average. Huh? First you will flow it through AC, whatever is the charge transfer. We'll try to match it with DC circuit, and if this current match, in that case we'll say this is the average current of AC. So RMS value of sine wave can be found out using mean square. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to find out mean of I square. So we know that I is equal to Im sin theta. That's same thing over here. I'll take a small part of d theta, but though here it is the full cycle, I can have these like identical half cycle, but this is not average value. This is RMS value. That's why we are not going to see the symmetry, but rather than that, we'll directly use this full cycle starting from 0 up to 2 pi. Earlier, in case of average, that reverse current flows and average values become 0. That's why we have not taken that. But here it's the not that's not the case, because we are finding out the mean square of like mean of I square. Okay, or it's like this, under root of I square upon something. We are going to find this. That's why this won't matter, and we'll consider for full cycle. So here mean of I square. First I'm finding just mean of I square, then I will take the under root part. So mean of I square is 0 to pi I square d theta divided by 2 pi. So in this equation I will take I square into d theta divided by 2 pi over time of 0 to 2 pi. Why? Because we are considering a full cycle. Then if you put this value, it will become Im sin theta whole square divided by 2 pi into d theta. I can take Im square into 2 pi common. This term is common now, and I have sin square theta d theta integration over 0 to 2 pi. If you do that integration, we know that the integration of my sin square theta would become, first I can have this sin square theta, this equation 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2. This is the standard equation in mathematics. 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to integrate this equation. Okay, again I will take this 2 common, so it will become Im square divided by 4 pi into 1 minus cos 2 theta d theta over 0 to 2 pi. This is d theta. And if you integrate that 1, it would become this theta. Cos 2 theta will become minus sin 2 theta. Minus is just this sign. Huh? Cos integrate would be sin. So it would be cos 2 sin. So it is sin 2 theta divided by 2 over 0 to 2 pi. But where this theta came from? It is due to this 1. This is a constant, and if you integrate constant, you will get the theta. So theta minus sin 2 theta divided by 2. Now if you put this value of sin 2 theta, sin 2 theta, let us say 2 pi is the value, so sin 2 into 2 pi, it would be sin 4 pi. But for sin pi, sin 2 pi, or sin 3 pi, sin 4 pi, we know that value would be 0. Okay. Same way, sin 0, it would be again 0. So I can say, if I put this all the values here, what I'll get is something like this: 2 pi minus sin 4 pi. Okay. This is the first term, minus 0 minus sin 0. The division by 2 is present, but as it is 0 divided by 2, it won't matter. This value is 0, this value is 0, this value is so, and everything is 0. Only we'll get 2 pi. So Im square divided by 4 pi, that was common term, and this simplification of this term is this 2 pi minus 0, or you can say directly 2 pi, where that 2 would cancel it out, pi will cancel it out, and finally we get Im square divided by 2. But what is this value? This is just mean of I square. But actually, to find out the root mean square value, you have to take under root of the mean of squares of the instantaneous values of the current. So that would be under root of Im square divided by 2. That would be Im divided by root 2, and finally you will get 0.707 Im. Okay. The average value over the full cycle, or for the full sine wave, we have 0.637 Im, and RMS value of the any quantity would be 0.707 Im. Okay. So these are the two derivations. Same way you can derive for the half cycle. Same derivation for the half cycle. You will get the same values, but here the only difference is that you will get Im square divided by 4, because you have this 0 d theta part will vanish. It would become 0 over here only. So my integration would now become only from 0 to pi, and as it is 0 to pi, we'll get Im square 4 pi theta minus sine 2 theta by 2 over 0 to pi, and as this is pi, we'll get only pi, and Im square by 4 is the mean square, and if you find out the RMS value, it would become 0.5 of Im. Okay. So this is the for rectified or half wave cycle, or half cycle wave, and this is for full cycle wave. Okay. So these are the equations for your average value and RMS value for half cycle as well as full cycle. How you can derive that? That's all. If you have any question, you can ask.
Sir,
Yeah.
practical you said it.
Sorry.
Current.
Just a minute. Who is that?
Practical you said it.
Practical view से देखे
IMS
तो
current or
RMS current, or I didn't catch your whole question. Can you come again? When I'm not able to find out like who is speaking. If you can repeat the question.
hello sir.
Yeah, who is it? Just let me know the roll number.
Zero 27.
027. Yes, go ahead. Meet. Yes, Meet, go ahead.
सर हम प्रैक्टिकल व्यू से देखें तो आरएमएस करंट पता नहीं
Uh, your voice is chattering little bit. Repeat one more time, Meet.
चैट में भेज दूं
You can send it over chat, no issue.
ओके सर
Sir,
Yes.
सर रेक्टिफायर में हम लोग मीन वैल्यू एवरेज वैल्यू देख रहे हैं,
हाँ,
वो सर कंपैरिजन किस सर्किट से होगा डीसी में?
वो सेम सर्किट से ही होगा, but what will happen in case of rectified circuit? It's already DC current, so it would be only like flowing through half wave. Like here we have AC source, but if it is rectified, what will happen? The current will flow only in one direction. Okay.
तो सर वो डीसी सर्किट में डायोड यूज करना पड़ेगा ना रजिस्टर की जगह
There
पे?
would be a diode like this. There would be a circuit like this where we have a diode. So this will only flow the half cycle. Okay. Whenever there is a positive cycle, then and then the current will flow. But if you consider a same time, like let us say I'm considering a 20 millisecond, that is a full cycle of AC. So during this 20 millisecond, what will happen? The current will only flow for 10 milliseconds. So the charge would be different here, and
Yeah.
charge would be, we are matching now this charge with this circuit, the same circuit. Okay, so it will match up accordingly and we'll get this correct answer that we have proven with the equation. So we are not going to change this circuit, we are going to pass the same current, but the only difference is we will pass a rectified current in this case. Okay,
Yes.
the current would be like here, what the current value would be, the current value would be again I am sin theta, but this theta will only vary from 0 to pi. That's the thing, it will vary from 0 to pi. That's why the current flowed in this circuit would be lesser compared to the full cycle current. So we can match that.
और सर डायोड का जो रेजिस्टेंस होगा,
Yeah.
डायोड का
Actually, in practical scenario, it's not like this easy. It's not done like this. This is just for your like what is the physical significance of RMS value and what is the physical significance of average value. To explain these things, this definition is there. Otherwise, in actual scenario, we always follow this equation to calculate the RMS values and the average value. Now, again, one more thing happens in case of RMS and average value. Whenever there is a spike, these values change. Like for an example, if you have the whatever voltage or current we measure using voltmeter, or that right now we have that yellow meters. You must have seen that kind of meters. So what happened with that meter is always measure the RMS value. So if you have a voltmeter and if you put it inside that socket and it shows 230, it's actually RMS value. 230 is RMS value. It's not a peak value, not instantaneous value, but it's a RMS value. But it to measure this RMS value, it actually follows the average value concept. So first the meter try to measure the average value, and then from this average value it will get the RMS value using one term, that is a form factor. That's the actual scenario. So always that multimeters or any meters you have, the digital ones I'm talking about, is following this concept. It first calculate average value. Why first calculate average value? Because average value is easier to calculate. It just measured over half cycle. But in case of your RMS value, the meter doesn't know it actually, but whatever charge passed through it, it will measure this average value using that charge pass, and then from average value we can find out the RMS value. But what happens with this value is, if you have a spike like this is my pure sine, okay, but in actual scenario what we get at our home is something like this. It can be like this, okay. We can have this kind of waveform. So it is very hard to find out the RMS value of this kind of wave. So what we do is, first we'll find out the average value, and using the form factor we assume this would be the RMS value. We assume that to just nullify this rippling effect. We do that in meter. That's the thing. In actual scenario, in our home case or our office or our college or institute, that wherever you see, we don't have the pure sine wave. This is just for explanation. We don't have this kind of pure sine wave until and unless we are operating like directly. We are operating a AC generator at our home, and we are utilizing it for some specific purpose. Otherwise, this light, fan, your TV, your electronic gadgets can work on the distorted wave. No issue in that. Okay. There is one more term that we introduce later on in the electrical engineering, that is power factor. It's also very important. But right now we are not discussing it. But actually we don't get this kind of wave. This is just a theory, like what is the concept of RMS and how you measure the RMS. Okay. So if you actually have this waveform like this, if this kind of distorted waveform is available with you, it would be very difficult to find out the RMS value using this equation. So what we basically do is, we first calculate the average value because it is very easy to measure. We just have to let the charge pass through circuit, and we can easily calculate the charge based on the current over the time. And then from that value we find out this value, because there is a clear relation between these two. What is that relation? We are going to see that relation in this equation. This is the relation between that two values. It is known as form factor. Okay. that's the actual scenario. A view about practical difference between RMS current and RMS current and average current. So see, the RMS current and average current is actually related with this equation. Like average current is the current, like these physical differences only in this circuit only. When we see this, if you have, if you want to know like when it can become same, if you have this kind of square wave, if this is a square wave, in that case your RMS value and your uh, average value will become same. If you find out the if you calculate for this thing, the RMS value and your average value will become same. But whenever we have a sine wave, the average value is different and RMS value is different, because in this case what we measure is a heat transfer during some amount of time, and in case of average we try to measure the charge pass through over time. That's the thing. So we want, basically we want, what we want is, this is the AC wave, like it is always changing its values. What we want is a quantity using which we can say, we can represent it in like steady state. Like I can say my current is this, but we say, let us say for our home example, we say my voltage is 230 volt, but at any point of time it is not actually 230, but it is just a root mean square value of your voltage. So at any point of time you want to say my voltage, then I'll say my voltage is 230. But if you actually measure the instant value, it would be varying from 0 up to measure than 230. Like 230 is RMS value, but my peak value would be different than 230. So that there is a huge difference between that two values. Okay, how you can find out that difference? Using this equation. Okay. So my peak value would be different. Let us say in our home, whatever we get is 230 volt. We generally say that we get 230. But if you actually find out, it would be 230 divided by 0.707. Actually you are getting through 325 volt maximum and 0 volt minimum, and it is varying between that two value. But if you want to say generalize, like what is my voltage value of AC in general term, we want to say at that time we use RMS quantities. Okay, that's the thing. If you need more details on that, I'll share a video where the terminology has been differentiated in detail, but it is not required for like the major part of this in your field. It is not at all related with it. If you belong to electrical, then there is a huge difference between two, and we always follow RMS value. We don't follow average value, but average value is very important. We calculate RMS value based on average value in all the RMS, like all the voltmeters or all the current meters. That is the actual scenario. And to relate that to, we have this form factor. Okay, what the form factor is actually the relation between RMS value and your average value. So it is RMS value divided by average value. So in our case means sine wave. Okay, for triangular value, for triangular wave, your RMS and average value will be different. For square wave, your RMS average value will be different. Okay, different means you won't get 0.707 IM in case of triangular wave. You will get something different. The constant would, like this part would different. Though IM would be there, but this part would be different because the equation itself changes here. This equation changes itself here in case of your triangular wave. In sine wave, this is the equation. In square wave, the equation would be different, like I equal to 1 over 0 to pi and I equal to 0 over pi to 2 pi. That would be the equation. Or in this case, it would be 1 and minus 1. That's this actual scenario. So to relate that two things, we have this form factor. So in case of sinusoidal or our case, RMS value we know it's 0.707 IM, average value you know that is 0.637 IM. So the form factor you can easily calculate is 1.11. So in voltmeter, what they do is they'll measure the average value and they'll multiply it 1.11. Okay. Why they do that? Because we always know at our home we get the sine wave. That's why they have done this. just to cancel out the effect of this ripples that we have shown over here. This ripples. This can change drastically. The RMS values can be changed drastically using due to this effect. That's why we only measure the average value, and then using form factor you will get the actual RMS value. So at our home, whenever we use the voltmeter and measure something, that's always a RMS value. So 230 volt we say is actually RMS value and not a peak value or not an average value. That's RMS value. Okay. So you can say at your home you get the more than 230 volt at any point of time. At some point of time, the waveform will shoot up at some other voltage, that's around about 300. Okay. Then there is one more factor, that is peak factor. So using this peak factor, you can find out your actual maximum value. So this peak factor is basically a relation between maximum value of alternating quantity upon RMS value. So it is nothing but like 0.07707 J. We just have multiplied, that's the same thing. Okay. So peak factor is the relation between maximum value and your RMS value. So peak factor is equal to Im divided by Im upon root 2. That's the RMS value. So Im I will cancel out and you will get 1.414. Okay. That's just a reciprocal of your 707. So 1 upon 707 is the same thing. So if you want to find out the maximum value, then you can multiply this peak factor with your RMS value. So RMS into peak factor would be maximum value. So at our home, you can say 1.41 into 230. Again, you'll get to 325 volts. This is the value of the maximum voltage that we get at our home. So this is all about the this chapter. We completed this chapter. Now there are some examples. This is a very basic example. The equation is given. An alternating EMF is represented by E is equal to 200 sine 2 pi 50 t. Find maximum value, frequency, time period, and angular frequencies. So can you do that? Or let's just do this rather than giving it to you. So the equation is E is equal to 200 sine 2 pi 50 t. Okay, we know that the equation for your alternating current is Em sine omega t volts, or Em sine theta, you can say. Okay, where omega t is your angular frequency. So how to calculate the different things asked in this example? Okay, one more time, what we are going to do first, we are going to compare that equation with our equation. 200 sine 2 pi 50 t, comparing this equation with the equation that we have, Em sine 2 pi ft. Okay, instead of omega t, we have put the value omega is 2 pi f into t. Okay, so omega t is actually omega is 2 pi f. So 2 pi ft. For the students from division 2, this was covered in that alternating voltage equation theory. You can refer that. So this is the equation that we get. So what we'll get the maximum value, that is Em, that is 200, and we'll get frequency f, that is 2 pi 50 t. So 2 pi ft. So 2 pi is comparable, tt is comparable. So 50 is my frequency. F is equal to 50. So we get first two quantity, maximum value and frequency, by just comparing these equations. Now we want to calculate time period. So we know that 50 hertz is the total frequency. Frequency. So time is 1 upon t. So 1 by 50 would be my time period. That is 0.02 second, or you can say 20 millisecond. And once you get that, you can actually get your angular frequency, that is 2 pi f. Okay, that this thing 2 pi f, that is 314.2 radian per second. This is the example. This is how you can calculate this example. We are just putting values in equation that we already have. Same way, you can have the equation for the example for the other. A sine wave have a value of 100 volt at 2.5 millisecond. Okay, so what it given is some value at some time, 100 volt at exact time. This is an instantaneous value. This is an instant value. and it takes 20 milliseconds to complete one cycle. So this two information is given. Find the maximum value and time to reach it for the first time after 0. So what we have given is instantaneous value. So we know that the equation V is equal to Vm sine theta, or you have the different equation, that is 2 pi ft. So Vm is equal to sine 2 pi ft. Okay. Now first of all, you have to find out this f. How you can find out this f? We know that 20 millisecond is time for 1 second. So t is equal to 20 millisecond. We know that. So you can easily calculate f. F would be 1 divided by 20 millisecond. You will get 50. I know that. You can calculate it. So 50 is the answer. Now what I can do is Vm sine 2 pi 52 is my new equation. 50t sine 2 pi 50t is my new equation. Now what I have given, 100 volt at 2.5 seconds. This is the instantaneous voltage. Okay, this is the equation for the instantaneous voltage only. So I know 100 volt at exact time of 2.5 seconds. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this value over here. This is my V, 100 volt. I know I can calculate this Vm using sine 2 pi f 50. I know t is 2.5. So using this equation, you can get the answer easily. And here they have taken a different path. Let me explain it to you. Now as we are here, so Em sine 2 into 180, that 180 is actually 2 pi is actually 2 into 180, 50 into 2.5 into 10 raised to minus 3. Okay. And if you calculate, like, this should be in degree, correct? We were matching this in degree. So why we have taken the pi value as 180? Because we represent any sine wave using this term 0 pi, but actually this is 0 to 360. Okay. Whenever you have 0 over here and 360 over here, if you taking in radian, then you can take pi is equal to 3.414. But if you are taking in a degree, what you have to do is you have to calculate in terms of degree. So when you say 0 to pi, it is actually 0 to 180 degree and then 180 to 360. At 2 pi will complete the cycle of 360. So this is basically the theta is basically, if the theta is a degree, then you can say it is starting from 0, it is ranging up to 180, and it is starting from 180 and it is ending up to 360. But if you are talking about radian, at that time you can say 0 to 3.14 and 3.14 into 2 into 3.14. But as we are considering a degree over here, that's why we have taken value of pi as 180. So don't get confused. And then t is 2.5 into 10 raised to minus 3. It is already given. So 2.5 into 10 raised to minus 10. This is not raised to 0. This is just to represent a degree. So if you calculate this term, it would become 45. And we know that the sine 45 is 1 by root 2. So you can get this value of Em by having this. Em is equal to 100. The value 100 is over here into root 2, that is 141.4 volts. This is the maximum value of your voltage. So you have calculated this. Then you can ask, find the maximum value and time to reach it for the first time after 0. So how to do this? Now E, we know that equation of E is 141.4. Why? Because we calculated the value of maximum. So I am going to put this value over here, this Vm. Okay. They are saying Em, that's EMF, but V is voltage. So you can use it interchangeably as of now. The two different are the two things are the different meaning, but as of now you can change this to interchangeably use it. So E is equal to 1.141.4 into sine, okay, 2 pi into 50t. Why pi 50? Because we know 2 pi ft. So f is 50. We have calculated. So we can say sine 100 pi t. Now we have to find out when it becomes 0. First time, the value and time to reach it for the first time after 0. So what we are going to do is we are going to calculate the point of maximum first, okay, when it becomes maximum. So let me draw it for you and explain it like what we are doing. What we are going to do, we don't know whether it started from exact 0 or not, okay. This case might be like this. My origin can be here. So what I have to I want to calculate is first time it becomes 0, okay? So this is the first time it becomes 0. So first of all, like how I can do that, I can know what are my maximum point. Whenever there is a maximum, okay, after maximum it will take 90 degree to reach a 0. Same way, after one more 90 degree it will become maximum, negative maximum, and again after 90 degree it will become 0. So again this will be 90. So if you sum up this 90 90, this is 180, and this is again 180. So it is actually 360 cycle completed. This is how it is completed. So what we are going to do is I'm going to directly equate the maximum value in the equation itself, and I'll get at what time instant, this is my time instant, at what time instant it is maximum. So first I'm going to do that by putting this values directly in here. So where is it? So this is the value that I get, t is equal to 1 upon 200, and then I know that is 5 millisecond. So 5 millisecond is the actual time when it will begin. So this is the 5 millisecond time. Okay. Find the maximum value and time to reach it for the first time after 0. So after 0, when it reach a maximum value, so this was my 0, and after what time it will take, to reach maximum, what we have done is directly we have put like this, okay. 180 into t is the term that we use. Why? Because 100 pi. So we know that when it will become 0, when the pi is 180, at that time it will become 0, okay. So if this is my origin, this is 180, and at that time it will become 0. So after 180, when it will become maximum, or again it will become 0, you can get this using this equation. So t is equal to 5 milliseconds. This is how you can calculate this example. uh, Nothing we have done here, it's very simple. Even you can put a 0 over here and get the same answer. But if you put 0, what will happen? It will become sine 0. 100 into 0, it will become 0. That's the issue. That's why we are not using it as 0, but instead we are using 180. And the last related to the RMS value. So RMS value of an alternating current is 30 ampere and its frequency is 25 Hz. Write its equation to find its instantaneous value. Also calculate average value and time period. Okay. So RMS value is given 30 ampere and the frequency is given 25 Hz. Okay. We know that I is equal to Im sine 2 pi ft. Now what terms we need here? We need f and we need Im. What is given is RMS. So we know that relation between RMS and Im. What is it? It is related with peak factor. So if I know the peak factor, you can multiply with Im, then my RMS value would be that. The RMS value is given 30 ampere, and this won't help you here. This won't help. Something different will help here. Let us see. So first of all, it's very easy to find out the frequency, and I can calculate the instantaneous current I using this equation. This equation is actually this. RMS value equation. So this is the equation. The RMS value is equal to 0.707 times into Im. So this is my RMS value. IRMS is equal to 0.707 into Im, and same equation we have used over here. But instead of 0.707, we have written it as root 2. So RMS is equal to Im divided by root 2. This is the equation, and I am going to find out Im. So Im is equal to IRMS into root 2. RMS value is given 30 into root 2 is 42.43 ampere. This is my instantaneous, maximum value or peak value, you can say. Now I can get this equation easily. I just have to put this value, and F I already know, that is 25 Hertz. So this is my equation for the current. Average value, we know that average value is 0.637 into Im. So I get average value 27 ampere. And time, how you can calculate time? T or 1 upon F. 1 by 25.01 second is the time period. So you can say 10 milliseconds. One more example, very easy. You can calculate it by yourself. Oh, sorry, it's 11 minutes. Okay, we will stop here. If you have any doubt, you can ask or you can leave. I'll send this PPT today.
Thank you, sir.